Hello everybody, welcome back to Gungeon with me, Flik. There's no bit spin because this is a off-stream recording due to it being another Inside Baseball episode. Inside Baseball number 11, I think? Maybe 12? I think it's 11 though. And this will be, I know I've said this before as well, but this will be the most Inside Baseball episode I've ever done, I think. Because it's not even just about the back end of YouTube or Twitch, it's very, very specifically about my channel and a Google Docs anonymous feedback survey I made at the end of last month. It was a chance for patrons, people in Discord, Twitch viewers and YouTube viewers to answer some questions, to give me feedback about what they'd like to see on the channel, what they think needs improving, what they might like to see in terms of new content. And I had over 500 responses to the survey before I left it open for about a week. It's closed now, so based on that, I've looked through the feedback at large with like a glance at the 150 most common answers and whatnot as well. Made myself a little list of things I'm going to change about the channel, work on in the future, so I'm going to go over that as well as just initially the answers I got to the pie chart questions. There was chances to give very specific feedback, and then there was also just like multiple choice type things. So we'll go over those first, then I'll go over the short list. At some point in the future, I do intend to try and get through as many of the responses specifically as possible, but it's going to take a while because I got so many, and it's also worth remembering that you can't be all things to all people. So even though I may read feedback from everybody, I can't act on all feedback, and we'll get into that more into the nitty-gritty once we go through the specific questions. So that's the plan for this one. If that doesn't interest you at all, then this probably won't be for you, but if you are curious where I think I'm going with my channel, what I'm changing hopefully for the better, or trying to work on, then this should be of interest to you. It's also worth remembering that Rome wasn't built in a day. Change that can't really happen overnight, and that some changes will take a while. But I apologise for not getting around to this sooner. It's I was distracted by my back breaking, getting a minor concussion, a bunch of stuff that I think didn't put me in the right mindset to be accepting feedback. So I decided to deliberately not look into it until I was feeling better. So that's why it took so long to get around to this. But anyway, the first question I posed on the questionnaire, which you can still read I think, is just closed for feedback. It was, how often do you watch YouTube, my YouTube videos specifically? We did actually unlock one of those on a stream recently, but this might be shown prior to that, so I shouldn't have said that. Whoops. But anyway, so the majority of people, 67.7% of the 500 that gave input, said that they watch my YouTube videos daily. Second highest was weekly. Third highest was every now and then, with like 9.5%. And then beyond that, there was less than 10% on rarely or never, or not applicable because they only watch live streams. Which, there is a certain contingent of people who do only watch Twitch side, and that's fine. So of the 500 people, like 60% of them, 67%, whatever it was, I just said, 67.7%, they watch YouTube daily. And the only thing with this though is it's also worth pointing out, I've said that like 3 times, apparently that's my phrase of the day, and so it's going to bug me if I say it again in this video, that I was trying very hard to get feedback from people who don't watch everything I do. I wasn't looking for ass kissing. I wasn't looking for an ass kicking either, for the record. But I wasn't looking for ass kissing. I wanted genuine feedback, ideally from people who maybe didn't watch as much as they used to find out why and whether or not that's something I'm willing or able to change. But it's hard to tell. A sample size of 500 when you have 130,000 subscribers, it's not necessarily indicative of the opinion of the majority. So that's also why you have to take everything with a grain of salt too. Also, I feel like the game is a bit loud. Maybe it's because it's quite early in the morning. I'm going to turn it down a little bit after this room is over. I feel like my voice is straining a little bit. I'm also fighting either allergies or a cold right now, so it could be that. Let's just bring it down by like... No, not that much. That's too much. Let's bring it down by like 2. Just a eensy-weensy bit. It just feels like it just needs a little bit down. Yeah, when it fires, it gets a little loud. Anyway, the second question was, how often do you watch my streams? And that was a lot more split. The majority answer was with 41%, let's say it's 40.8, we'll call it 40.1, was just every now and then. So I kind of knew going in that this would be the answer because my streams are at a bad time for the majority of my viewership. The majority of my subscribers on YouTube are from America. Oh god, my streams do not sync up well with a vast majority of the American time zones. Unfortunately, I can't work around it really at this point. So I had a feeling that would be the answer. Second highest answer with 18.9% was not applicable because they only watch on YouTube. Again, that's probably a time zone thing, but not necessarily true in every case. Hang on, I need to focus on this room for a second. Next highest, 17.2%, was maybe once or twice a week. That sounds about right to me. Work, school and whatnot, especially at this time of year as we near the end of the current semesters before the Christmas break comes in a month or so. Exams are on again, so that's perfectly understandable, honestly. And then 14.8% after that, daily or very often. So that's kind of like the antithesis of the YouTube one. The YouTube one, the daily answer was the top one. For Twitch side, it's the second lowest. The one below that is never, and that's, again, people who only... Well, actually, no, it's not necessarily people who only watch on YouTube, because that was a different option. It's just people who aren't interested in the streams. But maybe they are interested in the YouTube side. Maybe they don't like the live setting, maybe like bit noises or sub noises and dedications, maybe that annoys them. Which is, yep, that's fine if you don't like them. Like, this is Trash Person guaranteed, right? Yeah. Means the other chest is a gun. So then I went into some specifics that I won't bother reading out individual replies because I also don't think that's perfect. That's not really fair on the individuals. Although again, it's anonymous, so I don't know who said what. But I don't want to read out every individual answer. But the next question was asking like if they don't watch YouTube or rarely do, can they go into detail why? Then I asked about Twitch as well. But we'll go over the specific or my specific reactions to what I'm going to do in regards to these questions after. Then I asked about what would encourage you to watch more on YouTube or Twitch or either. But again, that's not multiple choice, so moving on. Sorry, I'll probably have to alt-tab quite a lot at the start, but once I get into just reading from the TXT that I made up of my reactions to the feedback and what I'm going to change, then I won't need to alt-tab as much. So then I asked people on YouTube specifically, and they can select multiple answers from this if they want, what did they want to see more of? And I don't mean like specific games here, I mean not even genres either, just like types of games. And it was things like solo content, cooperative content, adversarial, you know, that kind of thing. Like kind of broad terms. Don't walk into me, don't walk into me. Because I was curious, honestly, because I'm a variety channel, it's hard to pin down what people specifically want to see. Especially now that kind of like the YouTube crowd is gone. So I was honestly interested in people's preferences. Now, I'll read the specific options once Shades is dead here. Also, I've been getting bullet twins an awful lot. Ooh, that was very close. Gotcha. So, long-running series was one option, as in something like Gungeon, Isaac, that can go on for hundreds of episodes and hopefully, fingers crossed, never get old. Then it was something like short but sweet series, like Cuphead, Hollow Knight. Well, Hollow Knight's kind of bordering in between. Inside was a short series that could be a good example of that. So stuff like that. Then I asked about Let's Look At. Do people want me to like try and find more indie gems? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Unboxing reviews, stuff like special editions, that kind of thing. Highlight videos, as in little clips from live streams that hopefully within context or without much context are still funny. Oh, this is Devolver. This isn't the gun I thought it was. And finally, whether people wanted or were interested in more VR content. Now that I have a better setup for my Vive. Although as it turns out, the maximum room required for Vive games is ridiculous. And even though I've cleared out a vast majority of my office specifically for the Vive, it's still not enough for some room scale games. But anyway, the order I read there actually was more or less the the order of popularity in terms of the answers people gave. 73.4% wanted more long-running series on the channel. And then the second highest after that was 64% wanting highlight videos, so you know, just short and sweet but hopefully funny videos. After that it was short but sweet series. Then let's look at unboxing and VR dead last, which is to be expected because I don't think VR is taking off in general, although I do think there are good VR games. So then I asked what people wanted to see more of on streams, and the stream audience is different in terms of like things that work on YouTube don't necessarily work on stream and vice versa. Like I've learned there isn't really much point putting over golf VODs to YouTube, or not necessarily party games, not as big VODs, not as much as I used to anyway, because they don't fly as well when it's not live. It works better as a live experience, audience participation and all that stuff. So I was curious what the Twitch side wanted and how it differed to YouTube. I really don't want to do that room. I think I can actually get round, so we'll come up here. So the options they had were, did they want more co-op stuff, like say Divinity that I'm doing with Valinar right now on streams? Did they want solo stuff, like when I play Gungeon on stream by myself? Or, I don't know, A Hat in Time as something I've been recently playing on stream by myself. Or, hang on, just waiting for the dodge, there we go. Or did they want more party games like golf, Jackbox, Drawful, you know, Murder Party, all that stuff? Or did they want multiplayer stuff, as in like adversarial multiplayer, like Overwatch, Gigantic, you know, things where there's an adversarial edge as opposed to purely cooperative. And that was a bit more split after the top answer. The top answer was co-op stuff, with 83.4% of people who answered out of the 500 odd wanting more co-op stuff in general. But again, keep in mind they could select multiple answers. 48.8% wanted multiplayer adversarial stuff, 48.1% wanted solo stuff, and last with 47.6% was party games. But the thing to take from all of that is that no answer was dead last. Like, okay, co-op stuff was way out in front. The three other options were more or less identical. There was 1% in between the answers. So I think that the thing you can take from that is that the stream side is more or less happy with the mix of games I play at the moment. Maybe I'm misreading that, but that's the impression I get. Except maybe try and find more co-op stuff. Good co-op games are hard to find. Like Divinity is the best co-op game I've found for quite some time. Although I guess you can kind of add cooperative or multiplayer aspects to games that don't necessarily have it, like for instance doing point races in Gungeon or something. We might bring that back in the future. That isn't something I had on my list, it's just something to maybe go back to if there's like a lull in things to play. But in terms of like adversarial multiplayer and potentially co-op stuff, I think I'll be playing Destiny 2 on stream side. I don't know if I'll bother bringing it over to YouTube because it feels like a very competitive space, and I'm not like super into the Destiny universe. So like my little let's look at I did of the beta, I poked fun at it. I was poking fun at it in a friendly way, but fans of the Destiny games, they took issue with my gentle ribbing of it. Let's put it that way. I would say it was a gentle ribbing. I wasn't like trying to take it apart, unlike Destiny 1, which I will take apart forever because it's a terrible game. The Destiny 2 beta did not annoy me. It's just that I think there was some stuff worth poking fun at. Anyway, the next question was quite a big one. Interesting. Quite a big one in terms of like a new direction for the channel going ahead, a new form of content for the channel that might freshen things up, or it might drive people away because it's gaming, but it's not directly gaming. So I'll read the question as written, as I presented it to the people who answered, and of the 500 and something who answered some of the questions, 480 odd actually responded to this question in particular. Rather than upload to an old 40k channel I had, I'm considering bringing Warhammer 40k content to Flik's gaming stuff. How do you feel about that? The top answer with 40.8% said bring it on. I mostly worded these as kind of like joke answers, but I was genuinely curious whether people would care. The second highest answer was Papa Nurgle's warm embrace loves all. So that's like yes in two different ways. I didn't really... I had one answer which was basically no. And it said, it doesn't really fit your channel. And that is the concern I have with it, because it's tabletop wargaming, it's not gaming. I didn't touch that Iron Maiden at all. His hitbox is apparently terrible. I did not know that. Yeah, just die. Just die. There we go. Goodbye. So that sounds like people are receptive, but I do worry still. Oh, and the shop is locked. Fantastic. I do worry that bringing 40k to the channel will either drive away people who have no interest in a nerdy tabletop wargaming thing, or it'll bring a crowd that just wants 40k stuff, and then my gaming stuff will get ignored. So it is a big worry. I'll probably still do a trial run of it. Maybe 1 or 2 things. I can't do it yet because I don't have a gaming table in my new office. I have one arriving in the next couple of weeks, I think. 2-3 weeks maybe. So after that period of time, or less than that by the time you see this hopefully, I might just do a few tests, see how it does. I remember saying in an early Inside Baseball episode that there's a craving for 40k content on YouTube that is not satisfied, despite the fact there's a lot of channels that do 40k battle reports and things like that. There's an audience that wants more and more and more. Probably end up buying that 3rd key as well, honestly. So I genuinely think there's an audience for it. I think I'm going to open that and get the blue chest just to... I'm in a gambling mood apparently, even though gambling never works out for anybody, especially me. So to move on, the next question was... If something on YouTube was originally recorded on Twitch, does that affect your desire to watch it? And this is an important thing, because for a while now, I do worry about the amount of content that comes over to YouTube directly from Twitch. Not just because I think some people don't like the atmosphere. We don't want cluster bomb. That was a bad call on my behalf. Some people may not like the atmosphere, might not like the pop-ups, the emotes and whatnot on the Twitch side. Or if they've watched on the Twitch side, they probably don't want to watch again when it's on YouTube. So it's kind of like I'm competing with myself in a way if I upload a lot of Twitch content to YouTube. But at the same time, I think some of it works. So I was genuinely curious about the answer to this question. And I will tell you the percentages of the answers once I clear this room, because I have to scroll down again on my window I've got open to the survey results. Oh, that was a quick room actually. So a massive swing on this one, which is important I think. 78.5% of over 500 responses said it makes no difference. Oh, I should have waited. Interesting. And now we've just got the boss, who's not going to drop enough for me to open that chest, probably. I deserve that. I do, I feel. So yeah, just before we do this boss, 78.5% said it makes us no difference. I don't know if that was just them being kind, because honestly, to me, it would make a difference. If there's Twitch streamers I watch who also upload their stuff to YouTube. If I watched it live on Twitch, I don't watch it on YouTube. I watch their other stuff, but I don't watch the stuff I've seen already, and I thought that would be the majority opinion, and I still think it might be, despite the answers to this poll. So I would keep that in mind, but the next highest answer with 9.5% was, I prefer it that way, which is just further confusing me. Then 7.5%, I watched it recorded live, so I don't bother watching. So that's the answer I thought would be the biggest answer, and it's the second smallest. The smallest answer, with a negligible percentage, was, I don't like it as much as a result. It isn't the same as not watching it, it's just you don't like it as much. So honestly, that confused me a lot. Then I asked what upcoming games people want me to cover, but we'll skip over that for now. Then I asked about the Saturday morning early streams I'm doing to try and give a stream to people who can't normally make my normal streaming time. 62.4% are interested, and if you are interested, I'm still doing them. UK time, 10 AM to 1 PM on Saturday mornings. Then I asked what people wanted me to do different over Halloween and Christmas, and then the final section was just any feedback they wanted. And that's about it. So we'll kill this boss, and then I'll go over the points of interest and the things I should do going forwards based on all the constructive criticism I got. Incidentally, thank you in general if you answered. I think I only saw one troll answer through 500 odd responses. I'd accounted for 10% 100% that is. That was a terrible dodge. I put myself into a bad corner, to be fair. Just go up here, go around here. I don't know why I'm now like trying especially hard to dodge, given that I've already lost the flawless, but we need to maintain health, I suppose. I don't know if I should be switching when she's on fire. Oh, I didn't mean to switch to the devolver. Ah, whatever. Actually, it seems to be doing okay damage. This is the one that regresses enemies if you hit them, but it doesn't do anything to bosses, I think. Why are you spamming this attack? I ask because I spam the same gun at you constantly. Yeah, keep doing that attack. This attack's easy to dodge. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. I pressed spacebar! I pressed spacebar back! Well, I was going to use it after the fight anyway, but that's still embarrassing. Yep, just take more damage. Is this the one that becomes a chest when you finish all the ammo for it? Because if so, then that was a dumb thing I just did as well. My Gungeon foo is off because I'm concentrating on other things. We did not get enough for another key, so we're going to be breaking open some chests. And let's fill up the... we don't really have many options, do we? Alright, well, let's go shoot some chests. Actually, I should probably try for the secret room first. So, points of interest, based on the specific criticism and feedback people left. Number 1 on my list is better thumbnails. I am aware, and have been aware for a long time, that my thumbnails are not very good. And that's just flat out the truth. They're not very good. Now, for long-running series, like Gungeon, like Isaac, doing customized thumbnails for every episode is both tedious and unnecessary. But for short running series or series which have a natural end, like for instance, say XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, although I was kind of happy with how my thumbnail for that came out. War of the Chosen or Inside or anything like that. Oh, he's got a helmet now. The thumbnails could be better. Now, I don't want to ever resort to doing clickbaity thumbnails of like my face on the thumbnail going, oh, as I've spoken about before. I'm not willing to do that. But there are other things you can do with thumbnails that can make them better that aren't resorting to that kind of clickbait stuff. And those are things that I should have been doing. I have done in the past actually. Like, I think partly why my Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate series took off a little bit was because I did this, where every thumbnail was a scene from the video that looks action-packed. Like, it was usually, say, the monster that was being introduced, and the fact that they all had cutscene intros in that one made it really easy to pick out something to be the thumbnail, and then I just, slapped the number on it, slapped the logo, and it worked really well. And it's not that hard to do for most games. Certain games it's harder, like Inside, nothing is really action-packed in that, so it would be hard to just put an episode in Sony Vegas and say, oh, this bit looks like action-packed, I'll just print screen that and that'll be the thumbnail background for that episode. In games with a vocal story and cutscenes and whatnot, that's a good way to make thumbnails. So the only thing I can promise is for games like that, I will try. I kind of wish I'd done it for War of the Chosen, but at the same time I was really happy with the photoshopped picture I did. I took a game screenshot, hid Mafia Frog in the picture, and then edited one of my own emotes from Twitch into the face of the Reaper that's on the thumbnail. And I thought that was kind of funny. Does that classify it as a good thumbnail? Maybe for like one part. And if I'd continued editing my channel avatar face into screenshots, that would have been better. But I am limited to essentially MS Paint and GIMP, which is the main program I use for making my thumbnails. It's a free program called GIMP. Anyone can use it. I think I mentioned it before in Inside Baseball episodes. It works really well for what it is, and it's freeware, so there's no hidden fees or anything like that. But it is limited compared to other things. So I will strive to try and do better thumbnails going forward, like anything super story based. But ever so often there is just a game where that ethos doesn't work, and then all you're really left with is some kind of clickbaity thumbnail, and I don't want to do that. Like for Divinity, I think it would be hard to do a non-uniform thumbnail for that. Part of the problem might just be the games I play. But I will attempt to do better is all I can promise there. And I am aware it might be costing me viewership in terms of like new viewers by doing the thumbnails out the way I do. So that is the first point that I pledged to work on going forwards. The second point is an important one as well, I feel. I get criticised sometimes for complaining, and my defence for complaining is that my complaints are valid criticism. There was a few people who mentioned in their comments in the survey that while they agree that the complaints might be constructive, hearing them over and over again is not entertaining. And that is a fair opinion to have on that. Is that a jammed screaming bullet thing? Oh, yeah, it is. So what am I going to do about that? I'm going to try and mention constructive criticism less. However, I will say that if you're listening to this, you're probably a gamer as well. And as a gamer, you know that sometimes you get annoyed, and you have coping mechanisms for getting annoyed with a game. The most common one? Swear at it. Shout at it. That's not the way I conduct myself, and that's not the way I strive to conduct myself at all. So my coping mechanism for getting annoyed at a game is thinking through the process that created the problem, what would be better, and vocalize it. That's how I cope with combating Salt. But I have heard you loud and clear. Even if it's constructive criticism, you don't want as much of it, and that's understandable. Sometimes it's still hard, like especially with Cuphead. A game like Cuphead, it is exceptionally hard to not like activate your anti-salt coping mechanism. And I do have some genuine complaints with really the only two bosses in that game that I got stuck on. So with a game like that, it's exceptionally hard to take this advice and work with it. But in general, trying to be better at that. I feel like of all the points in this list, that's probably the one that will take the longest. Because spouting constructive criticism is my coping mechanism. I don't wish it to ever come across as whiny. I believe some people say it is sometimes, but that's purely because they disagree. And disagreeing with me is fine as well. If you don't agree with the complaint I'm making, it would obviously also make it even more annoying if you keep on hearing it. So I can understand that. I will try and do it less. I'm going to have to find some other coping mechanism, but I don't know, outside of developing Tourette's, I'm not sure at the moment what I'm going to do. Because it's hard to try and focus on being entertaining if you're mad at something. Or maybe you've just had a bad day. And that's when the coping mechanisms are handiest. So yeah, as I say, that's going to be one of the hardest things for me to work on. So I would ask you to be patient and understanding that while you're right, at least consider what the alternative would be like. Can you imagine if I was like shouting and screaming at the game or like swearing my ass off? I don't want to be like that. But I also understand that I could be doing better than I am now. So I will work on that. I will try. It will take the longest out of everything I'm about to tell you probably. But I will at least try. So the next point, as I wait for this room to end. There we go. The next point was answer comments more. Now I was annoyed is the wrong word. I was shocked at myself that I'd let this get to this point where not just one person but a few people, and when I say a few I don't mean literally 3, like more than just a couple or a few people all mentioned in their comments, you don't answer comments as much as you used to on YouTube. I was like, oh actually you know what, you're actually right. I haven't been, and I didn't realise it had gotten to the point where it was obvious that that was the case. A lot of stuff has been happening. During the move and the lead up to moving house, I did not have the time. Now that I have fully moved, I do have the time, so I don't really have a valid excuse. I'm not getting as many comments as I used to as well, especially on non-Overwatch stuff, so again, I don't really have an excuse for it, so I will try and answer comments more. I still try and, like, at the very least, when someone does the meme of saying hello, I'll say hi back if they're the first one to do it on a video. In general, though, a lot of the comments, they're not bad, but they're also not something I need to respond to at all. Like, maybe it's just like someone putting out a general thing. I also worry sometimes, and this might be a case of like over-analysing things right here. I worry that if I respond to positive comments too much, it comes across like it's narcissism. Like if I respond to the comments that say that they enjoyed the video, like some people will post on videos multiple times, not the same video, but I mean like the same person will post on multiple different videos. Like, hey, I enjoyed this, I like it a lot, and usually anytime I see a comment like that, I'll say thanks the first time or the first couple times, and after that I worry that it'll just look like an ego boost. And that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm trying to be polite, and I'm genuinely happy that someone took the time to write a comment saying, hey, you helped me through studying, or you just through a bad patch, you know. I think it's honestly a case of me overthinking things, which is, gunite armor. Which is a terrible, terrible thing to do when it's just a nice gesture from someone. But, you know, the internet in general it trains you to be skeptical of everything. But either way, what I can promise is that I will attempt to... We're going to have a hard time with this boss instantly because we have no guns. I will attempt to answer more comments. And in turn, if you want to do more comments to give me more to answer, I'll try to. I can't answer them throughout the day, mostly. I try and answer in the morning. I try and answer in the evening. Occasionally through the day, depending on what I'm doing. Like I made more of an effort back in my old place to have set comment answering times as part of my workday. I might try and do that again. So yeah, I will strive to answer more comments. If I don't answer your comment, please don't take offense. There might be mitigating circumstances that mean I don't get it. I don't get an alert for every comment I get either, especially if you're replying to a comment by someone else who isn't me. So sometimes I just don't know that the comment is there because YouTube is like that. But yeah, I will try and answer more comments. I let it slide during the move. I have no excuse now, so I will go back to trying to answer as many as possible. I will still, however, continue ignoring trolls and whatnot. Although there isn't that many of them, to be honest. Again, especially now that Overwatch stuff isn't getting billions of comments per day. Now the next point I can't read because I'm fighting Cannon Balrog and he's taking forever to die. Hang on, I'll read it now. The next one was... This is another one that's fairly hard to do, but I'm going to try and bring more content to YouTube that was not originally recorded on Twitch. So to that end, that's why I've stopped uploading as many VODs of like golf and party games from Twitch. That's why I recorded my blind playthrough of War of the Chosen just for YouTube. Didn't do it live. Ooh, I accidentally brought up the map there. In general though, I'm going to try and find more things for YouTube by YouTube. Like I was mentioning earlier in this very episode, I'm self-conscious about how much content I bring over from Twitch. Sometimes I think a game is just better in front of a live audience, and that results in more entertaining VODs to YouTube. But there will be more stuff for YouTube going forwards. I've been recording a lot of Isaac. I've been recording more Let's Look Ats. I didn't have a blank ready. I thought I had 3. Oh, I've just ruined a flawless that I should have had. Because I thought I had one more blank. Oh well. Destiny 2 is probably going to be a stream thing because it's going to be a cooperative thing, so I'm not sure, but like if I look back over the last few months, there's been stuff that I've recorded just for YouTube that I really enjoyed. I've enjoyed recording War of the Chosen just for the YouTube side, and also getting the videos out as soon as possible. So more of that is fine with me. I think we're going to buy the armor to make up for failing to get the flawless. It is also dependent on the games though, but I will try and, if I can't get like brand new games that work better on YouTube to YouTube, then at the very least I can pledge to do more look-ats, more Isaac, maybe more Inside Baseball episodes of Gungeon, or once Gungeon's and Dragon update lands, I'm probably going to go back to recording some of these runs off stream because we'll have a crap ton more to talk about when there's like tons of synergies. So I'm going to work on that as well. Next, Cut back on video releases for some series. Now this was an interesting complaint that I honestly didn't expect, but it was echoed by a few different people. When a new series starts on the channel, what I usually try and do is get a few videos up ASAP, because my assumption, and again you shouldn't really make assumptions, but my assumption was, hey, it's a new series that people are really into, they want the next episode ASAP. As it turns out, I had quite a few people saying, if you release too many episodes of a series early, I fall behind and then I'm less inclined to catch up because there's too many episodes too quickly. So unless a series does staggeringly well, like Overwatch at its peak staggeringly well, I will not rush out, say, like 2 episodes or 2 or 3 episodes in 2 days. I think daily episodes of a series is fine. I feel like having War of the Chosen, having War of the Chosen daily has been okay. That was terrible. I assume the skeleton can't be frozen, which is what I was hoping would happen. Yeah, I think having War of the Chosen daily has not been too bad, but even then, maybe some people thought that a 50-minute episode per day is too much. So I will look at that in the future, and I will maybe like do every other day for a brand new series sometimes. Break it up with roguelikes, where if you miss an episode of a roguelike now and then, you're not really missing anything. You're missing a self-contained adventure that might have a specific collection of items on it, but it doesn't deter your enjoyment of the next episode. So that's why another reason why roguelikes work so well as a long-running series. You can dip in and out and not really miss much. So the next point, we're about halfway through the list, and I made a long list. Next point was more highlight videos. The problem with highlight videos from Twitch is that sometimes funny things that happen on stream require too much context, and highlights I feel should be short, more or less. Not all the time necessarily, but most of the time. And sometimes there's too much setup or too much context required, and something isn't as funny without context as it was on streams. But in general, I'm trying to spot more moments during streams which work as funny moments by themselves. It can help drum up interest for the streams as well, which is helpful. So yeah, in general, more highlights. Going to work on that. In general as well, next point, more long-running and short-running games. So trying to find stuff like Cuphead where it's kind of like, boom, enjoy and you're done. But at the same time, more long-running series that aren't necessarily roguelikes. War of the Chosen is going to run to like 50 parts, I think. So I'd say that's pretty long-running for an individual game. And it's been fairly well received, as I said. Are they not taking as much damage because this is ice-based? I'm willing to bet that might be the case. Actually, I should burn them. Get burned. I do like the flare gun. So yeah, just in general, more long-running and short-running series. Next point, don't focus on VR, because people aren't particularly interested in VR stuff. And I understand that as well. VR is not taking off as people think they did. I think some VR games are excellent, but there is no need to focus on them because people don't particularly want them. So, I've got it. I will not focus. Other than occasional Let's Look Ats, there probably won't be much, if any, VR content. Hopefully doing a little bit more on one I covered a while back called Raw Data, because it's now fully released out of early access and it's pretty awesome. It's probably the most fun VR game other than Audio Shield that I've played with my Vive. See, if I wasn't concentrating on trying to not complain, I'd be complaining about those summoners shooting before they're actually fully spawned in, but I've mentioned that many times before, so it's not worth mentioning again. And we've got Kagebunshin Cthulhu over here. Next point, more co-op stuff on Twitch. I think I don't need to spend more time talking about this. I talked about this earlier. You want more co-op stuff? I love co-op stuff. The only problem is finding good co-op stuff. So I will make a better effort to try and do that, because you want more of it, and I am happy to oblige, because cooperative stuff is my favourite genre of game. Doesn't matter if it's an RPG, sci-fi, whatever. If it's cooperative, I am interested. We need more cooperative gaming in this gaming space. We don't need more competitive stuff. We don't need more full esports garbage. So next, 40k content should be potentially welcomed, assuming that the poll results are accurate for the majority. So I'll keep that in mind, and as I also said earlier, I'll be doing some trial 40k stuff in the form of maybe battle reports. I might show off some miniatures. The stream wanted me to potentially do like painting streams where I was just painting 40k miniatures while chatting. And the thing I said to them is what I'll say to you now is I'm not a good painter, I just know how to pretend to make it look like I'm a good painter of 40k miniatures. I use lots of washes, which is a type of paint that adds shading with basically no talent required. So I'm not sure how a painting stream would do. Next, 78% of people say that it's okay if something is on Twitch first, but the pie chart is at odds versus the opinions listed in the question. So this is again something I already kind of accidentally skipped ahead to. Although the majority of people said it doesn't matter if something was on Twitch prior to being on YouTube. The question later on about people watching something that was originally on Twitch kind of counteracts that. And that was something I noticed when I was going through the answers. And also just some vocal responses as well. Mentioned that they're not as keen to watch something that's been on Twitch if they saw it, because they don't need to watch it twice. Last 5 points. People are eager to see the likes of South Park, Destiny 2, Monster Hunter World and Cuphead. Well, Destiny 2 should be coming to stream. Monster Hunter World will be coming to stream and YouTube, as in, like, I'll be doing streams where I play with friends and players who are just in the chat, but I'll also be doing solo playthrough stuff on YouTube for YouTube. Ooh. Not too shabby. South Park, I did a Let's Look At for YouTube. I am considering playing it on stream. It depends how my console setup works. My Elgato might be busted, so I'm not sure about that one. Cuphead, I decided to do it. It's been and gone. Wasn't that many parts because it's not a very long game, but it was enjoyable. And that was the most asked for games. Those 4 games. So I'm going to be doing, or have done, all of them. So I'm happy I picked right. There was a few people asking for Evil Within 2. I think I will be playing that towards the end of the month for a stream. I'm not sure if I'm bringing it over to YouTube because it doesn't do really well. Also, it's like guaranteed demonetized, unfortunately. Because of all the blood and whatnot. And also, despite me not thinking that they're particularly scary games, apparently there's, like, even the potential at being scary is enough to put people off ever giving it a chance. And a lot of people didn't watch for that reason. Which is your right. Next, Halloween stuff, although I wrote it as Halloween because apparently I can't spell when I wrote this TXT. Halloween stuff, they want Overwatch, which I have been doing the Halloween event for that. They want Hollow Knight. I will be covering that. By the time you hear this, it might have already happened. It's out on the 26th of October, I believe, the Hollow Knight DLC for Halloween. Looking forward to that. Definitely covering it. General horror games. Evil Within 2 is probably the best you're going to get. I'm not interested in jump scare games. And for Christmas, they were interested in longer streams and potentially game giveaways, both of which I am open to doing. So you might be seeing both of those happen. I'm aware that for a lot of people Christmas is a time where maybe they get a little depressed because maybe they're away from home, or just in general it's a time where people can get depressed. All the cheerfulness you see around you can make you think that you're missing something in your life even if you aren't. I know those feels, so I'm happy to provide a distraction, especially around Christmas. I'm tempted to hold off just to afford that. Still, we have a gun muncher, so let's get rid of something. Devolver I don't like. Don't take offense to that, Devolver Digital, if you listen. I just don't like your gun representation in this game. Flare gun's done as well, but we'll get rid of it just to try for something better. Yeah, so longer streams around Christmas time to give you a distraction, maybe. I potentially might be a little... Oh, alien gun, whatever it's called. Potentially might be a little busy over Christmas depending on what happens, but I will strive to do longer streams. Let's just do this. Let's take full gamble because I'm running out of points to talk about anyway. So if the run was to end abruptly, so be it. And final feedback section was about 90% nice comments, including some very heartfelt ones, which I will not share personal information. As I said at the outset, I didn't do this viewer poll to get an ass kissing or an ass kicking. However, it's still very nice to be reminded that you've genuinely helped people through some tough stuff. I don't want to go into specifics because it's their business. It's technically not my business either, but they felt strongly about it enough to share it with me. And it was very nice that you chose to end the final comment section where I was basically asking you to, like... I can't remember my exact wording, I could go back and read it, but I think I said, like, if you've got constructive criticism, just unleash it. Like do it. And some people still felt that it was better to just, like, thank me or tell their story about how my dumb videos helped them in some way. So thank you for doing that. And thank you in general if you gave constructive criticism as well. That's what I was after. I was looking for. If you have any and you... Oh, Armor of Thorns. And you didn't fill out that form and you want to leave them in the comments of this video, you can do. Again, please keep in mind, change doesn't happen overnight. So you've got to give me a chance. Give me some time. We don't have a key anymore, so there's no point coming over here. I'll try and make better thumbnails going ahead. I'll try and complain less, even if it's constructive criticism. I will try and do some more long series and short series. Try and do more stuff just for YouTube. Getting the wall a lot as well. That was a terrible dodge. I've forgotten how to dodge the wall's attacks for some reason. I won't be doing as much VR stuff as I had planned. I will be testing 40k stuff. This is requiring all my brain power, even though we've already lost the flawless. I still want to try and maintain my health. I had a blank too, so there was no excuse getting hit when I did. But isn't it weird how, like, you have to focus? I genuinely can't think of what to say now because I'm focusing on dodging and the fight is taking so long. Oh, that's a bad hit right there. The longer the fight goes on, the more likely you are to get hit. I'm also probably running out of room. I honestly thought the sniper did more damage. Oh, I might be confusing it with the AWP, mind you. Alright, there we go. So what was I saying? Yes, focus more on co-op stuff. Better thumbnails, more stuff for YouTube, complaining less. What does this even do again? Detonates explosive objects in the current room. It does nothing, really. Okay. So as per usual, come floor, or the second last floor rather, that's usually where the inside baseball stuff ends. But I hope that was at least interesting. It was interesting for me, and I will go through like more of the answers eventually, but taking the time to go through 500 odd of them is going to take a while. I also wanted to wait until I was in the right mind space for it. Didn't want to do it while I was having chronic headaches as a result of a concussion. But I will go through them. I probably won't do another Inside Baseball episode on it because I think like the points I have here are probably the most mentioned. Or they definitely are the most mentioned. Like the Google Docs survey is actually really good for that. Like if people have done very similar answers, it will have in brackets like this is how many people had similar answers to this. So it was good for like looking at results from a lot of answers at a glance. So hopefully that about covers it. And in terms of new series, coming soon, Destiny 2, Monster Hunter World in January. January isn't exactly soon, but definitely covering it because that's the game I'm most hyped for and have been most hyped for in like years, probably. Well, a year since Monster Hunter Cross. But the fact it's got good graphics and it's not a Nintendo game, I can't wait. Now, keep in mind it might still turn out to be garbage. I certainly hope it doesn't. A little mad about losing that bit of armor, but I forgot that these shoot like veterans, so you know, I'm not going to rehash old ground. That was my fault. Still, a room full of nothing but veterans, pretty tough. I wonder if this explodes lamps. Nope, no it doesn't. We probably aren't winning this run because we have nothing to kill Dragon with. Like nothing at all, and I don't have enough health to tank him. If we find him, I'll go for it. Because we don't have any keys anyway. But not looking good. I'm trying to think of any upcoming roguelikes. I'm really looking forward to the update to this, because I feel like it'll breathe new life into the game. Now that I'm playing Afterbirth Plus, I can actually play the community mods as they add them, so that's evolving as time goes on too. I'd love like a decent third roguelike. I haven't checked in on Dead Cells since moving into the new house because I don't have it installed on this new PC, so I don't know if it's been getting updates or not, or how it's been received if it has. It might be worth going back to eventually. The blank helps, I suppose. Did I leave a chest on that last floor that I didn't explode even though it could have turned into a bag of junk for junk person? Because if so, then whoops. But you know how it is when you're concentrating on what you're saying rather than what you're doing. And also sometimes it can work in the opposite way where you just say something utterly nonsensical because you were focused on what you were playing. Damn near walked into that hole there. Thank you for the heart, I appreciate it. Oh, hey, you moved along again. The forge might have a key in it, so I guess it is still worth finding that. Because we're going to get to one of the chests in a second. Yeah, well, one or two rooms. God, do they have a lot of health, or does this gun just do no damage? Actually, I think it's just me doing no damage. We're getting a lot of tough rooms, to be fair. I don't think it's just me. Gotcha. We'll open up that room just to see the chest. If it's like brown quality or whatnot, we'll destroy it now. Blue. Potentially worth waiting for. Ended up being a long run, but that's because we've had like no good guns, so it's been slow going. Got stuck on the wall. Oh, it might be ending more abruptly than I thought. Nice. Why was the ghost shooting up that way? Ooh, ammo. Ammo goes to the blooper, I guess. Forge might be up here. Nope. I do like the blooper, it's just its obvious downside is it's got bad range. Oh, the heart keeps us ticking. I was going to say kicking and then I changed my mind and I didn't change my mind fast enough. Ooh, green quality chest. No, you need to open those. You need one of those newfangled keys. They open things which are locked. When you don't have a skeleton's finger at hand to do it for you. So I guess we could just shoot open the blue chest because we've got the green one to open. Let me just check if the dragon's up here or the forge. Hopefully it's one of the two. It's dragon. Well, I guess we'll just shoot open the chest and go for it then. Alright, now you've got a little sword. And now you've got a little tassel thingy. Alright, maybe he's my damage dealer for the boss. Who knows? Is Flash Ray my best bet here? Actually, probably finish Sniper Rifle, then use Flash Ray, because Dragon's big enough that you're not going to miss. And I think Flash Ray does good damage relative to its rarity because it's so inaccurate. Pardon me. Been talking too long. As per usual with Inside Baseballs. Where's Junk Person? Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's attacking it. He's going at it. Oh. I actually thought that did destroy those. So that's my bad. I did not know that. I think Junk Person is actually doing more damage than me. I've got half a heart left, so it's not looking good. You know, skulls are my only weakness. Oh, I pressed Q, but not quick enough, apparently. Alright, first time in a little while I've lost the run, but we had nothing to work with there. We had no good guns. Oh yeah, I had Armor of Thorns. Oh well. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Inside Baseball episode. Thank you again for the feedback to those who filled out the forum. I will see you next time. Ta-ta for now.